Hello guys, we are going to see about cell and its cell organelles. So I'm Shanmugapriya, lecturer in SNS College of Allied Health Science. Cell is basically derived from the Latin word cella, which means compartment. Cell is a basic structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Cell was first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. The image of Robert Hooke can be visualized in the slide. And then human body has 75 trillion number of cells. Cells are made up of macromolecules such as nucleic acid, protein, carbohydrate, and lipids. So basically, the organisms are classified into two types based on this number of cells. So the first one is unicellular organism and the second one is multicellular organism. So unicellular organism means the organisms which contain only one cell. Multicellular organisms are the organisms which has more than one cell. For example, in multicellular organism, as the picture shows, we all animals. And then under unicellular organism, we have amoeba as an example. Next, cell theory. All living organisms are composed of one or more cells, and new cells are created from pre-existing cells by the process called cell division, which includes mitosis and meiosis. Cells are structural and functional unit of all living organisms. These are the three main points under cell theory. Next, the structure of cell determines its function. Example, RBC is biconcave shape and has no nucleus and no organelles. The sac, the depression in the RBC is called as sac. It carries hemoglobin. That means that hemoglobin carries oxygen from lungs and gills to all body tissues and carbon dioxide back to the lungs where it is excreted. And another example is a neuron, and it sends and receives signals from our brain. Principal parts of cell. The first one is plasma membrane, and the second one is cytoplasm, and the third is nucleus. So plasma membrane is the outer lining that separates the internal components of cell from extracellular material. It is also called as cell membrane, plasmalemma or cell wall. It is a thin and delicate membrane. The thickness is about 6 to 10 nanometers. It is also called as 80 angstrom. So the picture here shows the plasma membrane structure. So it is basically outer lining membrane of the cell. Next, the structure. The structure of plasma membrane can be seen under electron microscope. The plasma membrane is arranged in three layers, that is trilaminar structure. The basic trilaminar structure is generally described as unit membrane. The three layers are outer protein layer, middle lipid layer, and inner layer is made up of proteins. The protein layer is made up of two types of proteins. They are integral proteins and another one is peripheral proteins. The integral proteins will extend across the lipid layer which form the membrane pores. The peripheral proteins are present on either side of lipid layer. They do not extend across the lipid layer. The thickness of each protein layer is 25 angstrom. Proteins are generally glycoproteins. Lipid layer is made up of phospholipids, and the phospholipid molecules are lined in two rows with either heads lying on the surface and tails pointing at each other. The head end is having phosphate group and is water soluble, which is known as hydrophilic end, and the tail end consists of two fatty acids and is water insoluble, and this is called as hydrophobic end. The thickness of lipid layer is 30 angstrom. So here the yellow round balls are called as head part, which is also called as hydrophilic end, and the two tails are two fatty acids and it is called as hydrophobic end. In the next class, we will be continuing with the functions of plasma membrane. Thank you.